Wow, that's not a bad backdrop for a kickabout, is it? Welcome to the latest episode of In the Box, brought to you by England Football. We are here at Guru Nanak FC in Gravesend, Kent, to find out about the amazing work they do in their local community, showing that football clubs aren't just here to serve up football, they are vehicles for positive change and for breaking down barriers as well. We've got some amazing volunteers to meet and incredible footballers as well. So let's head off for a team talk. Well, I don't think I could ask for a more spectacular backdrop for our first interview in this episode. I'm delighted to say I am joined by the chair of Guru Nanak Football Club, Tony. Tony, thank you so much for hosting us today. This is quite some football club. Yes. Tell us about its history.
Well, it's a pleasure that you're here today. And the club started in the early 60s. Young Asians that had emigrated to the country. Play in the local parks and try to get affiliated as a club. Were turned down on 2 or 3 occasions, unfortunately, at that time. Eventually, in 1965, that they were affiliated to the local Gravesend League. And so really 55 years later, we're still here, slightly larger at that time. Then it was just a one team, which then grew to 2, being Saturdays and Sundays, etc. And from now, we've got 16 teams in total, from the under-7s all the way up to adults football on a Saturday. And on a Sunday, you've got all the youth teams that play, and the women's teams and the girls as well. So
it's growing and thriving, which is incredible. But not only do you serve football, you serve the local community. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do away from the football pitch, but that has always been a part of your identity since the 1960s.
Yeah. So the name for the football club was actually taken from the Sikh Gurdwara, the community that's been here since the early 50s. And so we've been associated with the Sikh Gurdwara from 1965. We played under an association with the local community. A lot of the players, or in those days, 100% of the players came from the local community. Now, the way that the community has grown in Gravesham, it's from different backgrounds. We've got both West African, Eastern European, and also the Asian subcontinent, from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, so forth. So it's grown enormously. It taps into the local community from the local schools that are here, and we work with the community. With the Sikh Gurdwara itself, during COVID, we helped and organised the langar, we're heavily involved in that, and 65,000 meals I think we served during that period. That went to care homes, the local hospitals in the area, and people that were kind of stuck at home, couldn't get out, and we did deliveries every day. So from there, there's always been a community spirit. One of the Sikh principles is langar, which is by a founder, the Guru Nanak, that anybody that comes has a free meal. Yeah, and so the kitchens here are open from 5 o'clock in the morning till 7 in the evening. So, and anybody and everyone, as long as they obey some of the rules that are inside, all are welcome. On a Tuesday, they go out into the community and do food runs for people that that are hard up and etc. But the football club's always been involved in the community. But, and Vaisakhi, last year we had 6,000 members of the community all congregate here. The football club again is involved, where we organise the traffic around the town centre. It's a great feeling to be involved.
You should be incredibly proud. And you're chair of the football club. I wonder, could you tell us about what that role in itself entitles? Because I'm sure your to-do list on a weekly basis is quite long.
Yes. So from meeting parents, kids that are 6 or 7 year olds, been seeing the World Cup on TV, that want to play football, so you introduce them to the mini soccer, and then organising the training sessions, or working with the coaches, the secretaries of the club, and so you're unfortunately a jack of all trades. You've got to be involved with everything, and you can step back, but like all volunteers, it's very hard to get away. We are now becoming a bit more professional. We're paying people to actually do the roles, because it's now hard for a lot of people to give up their precious time. So the club's going into that direction, especially with the coaching and the backroom staff running. The secretary's work is unbelievable, and you've got to have a professionals running it. So, yeah.
And Tony, can I ask, your football club is so reflective of its community, and I know it would have taken a lot of hard work over the decades to get to that. If you were going to give a volunteer a tip on what they can do to become more inclusive and more reflective of their community, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't turn anyone away just because of their ability. Especially young kids, they all grow at different speeds, right? So don't turn anybody away. You never know the skills of the parents that are involved, because they become fantastic. Some of them become very fantastic volunteers. So that's the thing. But have some basic principles and rules that you straight away somebody comes forward, you say, this is how the club is run. And here's some of the principles that we follow, so that they feel comfortable and they're not out of sync, or that they themselves I haven't stepped on anybody's toes, And some people give a lot, where others, I'll give you 5 hours a week, and that's, any time is precious. So that's the best way of going forward, I think.
There's been such a lovely buzz around Guru Nanak when we visited today, from the volunteers to the parents to the players. There's obviously some core values that tie everyone together. If you were to describe those values, what words would you lend to that? And also, how much has the community influenced those values?
Because of our Sikh values, community, and seva, which is like volunteering, we all kind of in that sense participate. The respect for your elders is a key thing. Respect for the religion is another, and an openness. Everybody is welcome. That's the key thing, and then everybody feels welcome. So we don't kind of shun anyone away, and it doesn't matter what your background is. You could be turning up in a Range Rover, the latest one, to some shabby old car that and just it doesn't matter. We treat everybody the same, and that's the key thing. Everybody is equal. So.
That's a really key thing, and it's clear to see across the football club. Finally, Tony, all this good work hasn't gone unnoticed. I know the football club has won numerous awards, and because of the work that you and the volunteers have done here, it's unlocked a few opportunities as well. Can you tell us about those?
We have been noticed, and we've gone to presentations, the FA and everything. I've been involved with KCFA through the equality group, and brought some knowledge of, this is how Sikhs operate, and this is how the Northwest Kent, etc., where we're based. But also then in the FA, the Respect Programme, reporting discrimination, having first-hand felt discrimination, I actually helped the KCFA to write a process of what we should do, how the follow-up steps. So that was, an engagement, and given the opportunity. I was also the chair for the equality group for 4 years, which is a bit of an eye-opener. And then going to FA meetings and so forth. So, the club has been recognised for all the hard work it's done, from raising the profile of discrimination and the smaller groups, the communities in the area. Nowadays, the change in the community, all the kids that go, there is no colour. They don't see it that way. Where I was growing up, there was a difference. So that's kind of melted in the background to a certain extent. And from the FA, we've had support, and we're going through the phases of getting the 3G pitch here, and that again helped through the FA. It's been fantastic. So, yeah.
Well, Tony, thank you for all you do for the game and for all you do for this football club. I suspect the future is even brighter as well. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming. Thanks.
Right, let's carry on this team talk inside this magnificent building. Well, we've come inside this beautiful building, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by 2 committee members here at Guru Nanak. Gents, welcome to In the Box. First things first, can you introduce yourself and tell us about your role on the committee?
My name is Nanik Singh. I'm Vice President of Sikh Temple.
I'm Narendrajit Singh Thandi. I'm a committee member in the office doing booking extra.
Well, thank you both for letting us come and visit today. I think we have just been in awe of the fantastic community that you've got here. Tell us about the importance that football serves in your local community and in turn what the community serves to the football club.
Football club is GNG. The name is of GNG, Guru Nanak Football Club. It's running from 1965. So about 200 people, the children's, boy and girls, they're playing football every weekend on the Saturday and Sunday.
It's absolutely brilliant. And the football club not only interacts with lots of players, it goes a lot further than that. We were learning and speaking to Tony about some of the work that happened during the pandemic, for example. Can you tell us, as a committee member, how proud it makes you when the club goes above and beyond?
We are really proud of it. In 1965, when it was established, there was an issue that our people in the Sikh community, they were finding difficulty to go into the other clubs. So they established their own club, and they were working on the Guru Nanak philosophy that everybody is equal and we should work together for the community. Establishing that club, they give some positive activity to the youngster so that they can keep away from the other things which are the drugs or other the wrong activities in the community, and they bring the community together. During late 70s, there was National Front issue, and the football club make a big role to combat the racism. And after that, in every event in the pandemic, the football club, they done everything, delivering the foods to the young, vulnerable people, to the local hospital, so that not only playing football, giving some activities for the youngster, they bring the whole community together. What we learn from Guru Nanak is do your hard work and share the good fruit with the other people. That's what they done.
Tackling racism, looking after the vulnerable, supporting those during a pandemic. These are all things that have absolutely nothing to do with football, but happen because of the football club. Football is quite a powerful tool, isn't it, for society?
It is. Even they're helping us when we organizing the Vaisakhi festival. Then all these are traffic control, all the GNG putting all these effort there as well. So traffic control, other things, when we need them, they help us.
Yeah. That's brilliant to know that when you need the football club, it's here. And as a committee member, how important is it for you to have that balance between providing opportunities to win football games, to become better footballers, but also that those footballers, those volunteers, those parents represent the football club's values away from the football pitch?
It's because playing football is a teamwork, and that teamwork they bring into the society, doing other things like looking after the families. And I remember the Guru Nanak football members, they used to help with when we have weddings here, and they used to serve the food in the hall, and everywhere where we need them, they do to help them. It's just not playing on the pitch. They bring that teamwork to the community, and that's very important to everybody, and so that they relate. That's why the whole community, they don't feel that it's only those 11 players or 200 members playing there. The whole community, 15,000 Sikhs living here, they think they are part of that. And because they're giving so much to the community, they think that it's their children, they're bringing that to the community.
Teamwork in the community, I absolutely love that. My final question to you both. We get a lot of volunteers from across the country listen to this podcast, many of whom I think will be in awe of what this football club has done for its community and want to replicate that in their own area. What one piece of advice would you give them to help them bring football and the community together?
I think that the one main thing is the teamwork they bring into it, looking after the community. As I said, Guru Nanak's philosophy of hard work and share the fruit of your with more vulnerable people, and looking after the other people. That's the one thing they bring to the community, and that's the one thing the other community can learn from the Guru Nanak Football Club. So they are a role model for the community, and the people will love it. I used to work in what we call children's secure center, which is children's prison. And because of they give so much positive activities to the community, in 13 years, I haven't seen one young child coming from the Sikh community to the secure center. So that proves that it's not from here, it's go to everywhere that they bring to the community.
That's fantastic. Thank you both so much for sharing your advice and for hosting us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're extending the team talk further here at Guru Nanak. I'm pleased to say I've got two more guests alongside me. Thank you both for joining me on In the Box. Firstly, introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the football club.
So I'm Nin, I'm a football mum to a little boy. He's in under 10s at the moment, and I drive him there. I stand in the rain in my wellies watching the matches. Yeah.
And you also are the supplier of Jaffa cakes to the team, you told me earlier as well.
Yeah,
Very
Jaffa
important role.
cakes, sideline welfare officer, hugs, cuddles.
Very, very important. And how about yourself?
I'm currently the team manager for the under-10s. But how did I get into it? A couple of years ago, I just brought my son here, I think at the age of 5, just to get involved in football, make friends, and just be part of the sort of general community as well. And a couple of years later, lumbered into management.
That's often how it goes for volunteers, it must be said. As a parent, when you're looking for your son or daughter to develop skills, of course, getting better at football is one thing. But here at Guru Nanak, I sense that children and people that play football get a lot more than that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about football. Milan now, because of his involvement at G&G, loves football, absolutely loves football. So yeah, he's developed as a footballer, but I think it's I think there are other skills, mainly emotional intelligence skills, confidence, sort of navigating the successes and the challenges as well. You see a lot of that develop, teamship, all of that develop, which I mean that's not what you sign up for when you bring your son to a football match, but I can see that that's areas that Milan has grown in.
It's a real benefit as well. And we've been talking in this episode about the role and the synergy between football and community. It's fantastic winning trophies, it's brilliant winning football games, but football can serve a lot more. And we heard from Tony about how this football club has helped tackle racism, societal barriers. As a parent and as a coach who's been involved in this football club, what's your take on that?
I think it's great. It's like if you come to our matches, you'll see people, players, boys and girls from different backgrounds. You don't have to be Sikh, to be part of the team. So it's great. It's just like the kids are at school, different backgrounds. And it's great for them.
It's a real recipe for success here, isn't it?
It is. And, when it comes to matches, you can win, lose or draw. But at this age, it's great. They're learning to win, lose or draw with, as a team, as a unit.
Given your experience, how much of a role do you think football can play in making its community and its local area a better place to be?
Oh, in that regard, massively. I mean, it's football, but I do think that it's. I think, as Baji said, it's a safe space where you can play fearlessly and without judgment. It does break down social barriers. And it brings you outside of your regular home environment, which can be different for everybody. I think it plays a huge role in that regard. Just community outside. Milan obviously knows his friends at school, but this has brought into his circle a whole load of other children that he wouldn't have otherwise got to know.
Because football is such a popular sport, it has a kind of universal power, whether that be a conversation starter, whether it be helping to teach young people lessons. We have a lot of people listen and watch In the Box who are involved in football clubs across the country. They're going to be in awe of what Guru Nanak does. If you were to give them one piece of advice on how they can help make their football club a community asset, how they can be inclusive, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would just say it's all about being inclusive and diverse as well. So just as like this Gurdwara we're standing in today is open to everyone. It doesn't matter what background you're from, you're welcome here. And it's the same with the football club. It should be open to everyone. It's not just the football club, associated to a Sikh community. Every football club should be like that. There shouldn't be any barriers on, colour, race, nothing like that.
Absolutely. If I was to ask you the same question, as a football mum, you've seen it unfold over the last year. What one piece of advice would you give to a club that wants to attract more players, that wants to really serve and reflect the diversity of its community?
So as a parent, I think parents play a key role as well. The club takes on a huge responsibility. There's a huge number of players under its watch. Unless you engage as well. So it's one thing supporting your child in become a better footballer, but unless you engage and you show up and you enable your child to see that you're coming there as a family almost, I think that actually makes a massive difference to how a club achieves success in the community as well.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on. It comes down to that point of teamwork once again. Thank you both so much for coming on In the Box.
Okay, thank you.
Taking a walk around training, my path has crossed with one of the longest serving volunteers here at Guru Nanak Football Club. Surj, thank you so much for coming on In the Box. Tell us, how long have you been involved with the football club and how has your role evolved in that time?
Well, started off when I was 18. I was playing for another club at the time and they picked me up. Took me straight into the first team. Hard work, but which is good. That's what we wanted. Then as we progressed, playing in football tournaments, etc. I captained the side for 8-9 years. Played for the league side too. And then as I got older, managed the teams as well. But the whole idea was not just to make professional footballers, is to give the kids who joined us off the streets, off the drugs, doing the right things, be respectful. That's what the club's about, in my opinion. And a lot of the guys seem to agree with all that sort of thing. So it wasn't just about making professional footballers, it's making nice people, respectful people, keep them off the streets and do the right things.
So you've been captain, you've been a manager here, and when I caught up with you earlier today, you were even looking after the pitches here as a volunteer. What has this football club brought to your life personally?
Personally, it's brought me so much joy, so many friends. I couldn't count them at the moment. But it gives you loads of things when you join a club like this. You can get your work out of it if you haven't got work, because we know so many people through, all got different industries, construction workers, bank managers, etc. So you always get a leg up to do all this work-wise, and obviously the sport-wise keeps you fit, keeps your mind healthy.
It's an empowering network that over time through football has become a real community, a community that serves the players, but also those that perhaps don't kick a football as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's not just about the football, it's more a community thing where, like I said before, we're doing the right things, keeping the kids off the streets. So, as you know, most people, when they're young, 18-year-olds, teenagers, they want to join a gang. Football is a gang, but it's the right gang.
That's a really good point. It is the right gang indeed. And for anyone listening to this that wants to replicate it, that wants to bottle up this energy in this community that you've built, what tip, what piece of advice would you give them from your decades of being involved in Guru Nanak?
Simply just turn up and play.
Turn up and play. That's brilliant advice. Thank you so much, Surj.
You're welcome.
Well, we've had such a wonderful morning here at Guru Nanak. I get the feeling that this is not just a football club, it's a community as well.
Oh, very much so. As you can see, sort of backdrop here, you've got all the youngsters, sort of different teams over different sort of age groups. It's very sort of multicultural. You've got the temple here.
It's really lovely. I think everyone comes on a Saturday and a Sunday for matches, and it's a really sort of supportive environment for the kids and for the parents.
It's great. There's not enough of this around. There's respect for this club, and a lot of kids are missing out nowadays. So
Getting involved.
getting involved.
In training as well.
So to just right on your doorstep to get involved is fantastic.
That's wonderful to hear. And when your sons signed up to be a part of Guru Nanak, obviously you were probably hoping that their football would improve as well. But have you seen any other benefits in terms of off the pitch, how it's developed them as people, not as just footballers?
Yeah, my younger kid is very confident anyway, so he's more of a leader. So he's really enjoyed having a group to play with. Our oldest son is a bit more introverted, so he's really enjoyed being part of a team and part of a group. And that's really put him out in himself, yeah.
They started off as total strangers. It's a new team, and now they're all friends. You can see behind. They're just having fun, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Having lots of fun playing football. So you've just got to keep the boys smiling.
I love football because it's really fun, and you can learn a lot of stuff, and it's really fun. When I play, I just feel like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to show you how good I am. I love football because you can basically do it anywhere. It's fun. You can be really active, and it's really I like playing it. I like what position I play because you get to attack in midfield.
I love football because it's fun and I love the feeling of scoring goals.
On the weekends, it makes me do stuff and go outside and play. I want England to win the World Cup because the last time they won it was loads of years ago. So that would be really good winning again.
I would like England to make it to the finals and win because I have never seen them win a trophy in my whole life.
As we've seen here at Guru Nanak Football Club, football is all about community, whether that's getting involved in a kickabout or supporting from the sidelines. As an FA club consultant, I get to hear the incredible stories and see firsthand the best practice from all across the country. I'm so excited to tell you about a community that we are building online. We want you to come and join us on Clubhouse, where you and your volunteer workforce can find amazing resources, get the best tips, connect with experts, and also message other volunteers for advice. Clubhouse is a totally free platform, and you can be a part of it from today. Just head to the link in our show notes. Come and join us and be a part of Clubhouse. See you there. Let's club together. We've had such a fantastic time here at Guru Nanak Football Club. It is clear to see what an asset the football club is to its local community. A massive thank you to Tony, his team of volunteers and his amazing players for sharing their insight with us. If you want to dive into the subject of building a community at your club or league in more detail, then join us for In the Box Extra Time on the Clubs and Leagues Hub. That is just about all we have time for this episode. Until next time, take good care. Goodbye.